This video has been long overdue. Doom's movement and text have been broken and clunky since season 1. I feel like I need to talk about this because as the person who found majority of these Doom texts, I have a very good understanding on how these texts work and know the current issues with them. And there's many of you that don't understand my frustration with the issues because you either never played Doomfist in the beta or you never utilized this text in the beta. Before I show you the clips of the tech issues, let me tell you a story because it's important. During beta 1 and beta 2 of Overwatch, all of Doom's text worked fine and there wasn't really any issues with his text aside from them adding a slightly long delay to canceling Doom's slam, which felt a little clunky. In the alpha, Doom was able to cancel his slam faster, and in the beta, they added a delay. Overwatch 2 officially comes out of the beta, and we are on Season 1, but literally every Doomfist slam tech is broken and unusable. I'm like, there's no way they patched all of his techs. The Overwatch team is generally okay with in-game text as long as it isn't OP. I immediately reported to the devs explaining the issues with his text, and if you want to learn what the issues were with his text in Season 1, then check out this video. Why was his text broken in the first place? What happened exactly? During the release of Overwatch 2, they fixed one slam bug on Doomfist, which wasn't in the patch notes on day 1 by the way, but it was on the future patch notes, and it said, fixed a bug with seismic slam being stopped early by obstructions. What does this bug fix mean? Basically, if you played Doomfist during the beta, you probably experienced an issue where your slam would latch onto geometry that was in front of you and force you to do stair slam even though you wanted to slam up in the air. An easy fix as a Doom player was to just jump first to avoid the geometry that was in front of you and then activate your slam. I suggested a fix where if you are in any sort of incline or if there's a geometry in front of you and you're looking up in the air, when you activate slam it will avoid the geometry or stair slam text so you can slam up into the air. But back to the bug fix. If I got my dates correctly, on October 25 they fixed an issue with Doom's text but it wasn't fixed properly. Also, they didn't mention his text being fixed in the patch notes. Now we all know whenever they fix a Doomfist bug, a new bug appears or the original bug fix isn't fixed properly. I reported the issues with Doom text right away and I was like, hey, the texts weren't fixed properly, it's clunkier and it's not working the same way they did in the beta. I explained in detail showing before and after of the issues with his movement. It's been over 9 months now, and we are about to hit Season 6, and to this day, Doom's texts are still broken. His movement is still clunky, and the hero still feels like shit to play, and I'm not even talking about his balance. His balance being shit is one thing, right? But I am talking about the fluidity of the character's movement and how fun the hero was in the beta. So in short, the reason Doom's movement and text are so clunky to this day is because of one tiny bug fix that happened in Season 1, which unintentionally broke all of his texts. That's the story of his text. Now I'm going to show you clips of the issues with his text and explain them. Everything that I show and talk about here happened after the Season 1 Mitch patch, which brought back his text, but not properly. Before I start with Stair Slam, this is an umbrella term for a crouch slam effect. Without going into too much detail, a crouch slam effect is when Doom Slam hugs the floor instead of leaping into the air. You can execute a crouch slam effect by doing a head slam, slamming into any edge, also known as edge slam, slamming into any incline, also known as stair slam, standing on any incline while looking forward and using slam, which is also known as stair slam. There's currently multiple issues with stair slam which creates a massive domino effect on all of his other slam techs. If you mess with one Doomfist tech, it will affect all of his techs. Number 1. The distance of stair slam is shorter when compared to the beta. The top clip is from the beta and the bottom is from the live patch. You can clearly see that Doom's stair slam tech in the beta gave more distance when compared to the live version. Number 2. Earlier, I mentioned that they added a delay on how fast you can cancel slam in the beta. Well, because of this delay on top of the shortened distance of stair slam, you cannot cancel slam while doing a stair slam anymore. Here's what it looked like during the beta. You can see that I do a stair slam here and I was able to cancel my slam by pressing my slam button again. Now if you attempt to do any stair slam in the live patch, you cannot cancel slam anymore due to the shortened distance and the slam cancel delay which was added in the beta. Number 3. Stair slam in the beta activated on any incline you were standing on or slamming into. You can see in this clip that I slammed into the incline, which is a stair slam, and then I executed a turn slam. It was extremely fluid and consistent. If I attempt to do the same thing in the live version, you can see Doomfist now struggles to latch onto any inclines, which means he cannot do a stair slam, which also means I cannot do a turn slam. It feels much clunkier and feels like you have less microcontrol of the hero's movement. Because of this issue, you have to stand further down an incline to get a stair slam. For example, in the beta, if I were to stand on this second step and activate my slam, I would get a stair slam, but not anymore. Now I have to go further down the incline to get a stair slam, which means you're getting even less horizontal distance with this tech. Another thing about this issue is that on certain maps, the geometry incline isn't steep enough to give you a stair slam, which feels really bad. I'm going to show you a few examples. On Midtown, I can't do a stair slam here. If I want to do a stair slam here, I have to go further down the stairs, which means I'm going to get even less distance from my stair slam. You can see how bad this feels. If that didn't really make any sense, maybe if I showed to you in the drawing it might help. In the beta, I can stand right here and then activate my slam and I will instantly do a stair slam and I would pretty much go about this far, which is really good. But if I attempt to do this in the live patch and I try to do a stair slam, it wouldn't work. I would actually leap up into the air and then land over here, even though I want to get a stair slam. So how do we get the stair slam in the live patch? Well, you actually have to go further down the incline, which means you're going to get less horizontal distance. Then you would be able to do a stair slam, but because the stair slam distance is shorter and because you have to go further down the incline, you're not going to go as far as you want to, which sucks. And if you want a comparison between the live patch and the beta patch, this is what it would look like. You could see how big of a difference it really is. On Lijiang, I used to be able to do a stair slam here consistently. I would do a turn slam and punch someone off the map. Getting a stair slam here is very difficult as Doom struggles to latch onto the geometry now. This incline on Rialto is difficult to do a stair slam on, so you can't really do a turn slam if you're on the incline. Here's another spot that you used to be able to do a stair slam on back in the beta. Here's what it looks like now. Edge slam. In the beta, Doom's edge slam tech was amazing. If you slammed into any geometry's edge, you would always enter a crowd slam effect. In simple terms, slam would latch onto an edge if you slammed into it. You can see in these beta clips how consistent and fluid the edge slam tech was. If you attempt to do an edge slam now, you can see how awful it is. Doom struggles to latch onto a geometry's edge and will generally bounce off of it instead of grabbing onto it. You can see how bad this feels. There's many times I am trying to slam onto a high ground from below, but because Doom Slam struggles to latch onto an edge now, he simply slides or bounces off the geometry instead. You can see how this affects Doom's normal gameplay. Turn Slam. Because of the multiple stair slam issues, this also affects Turn Slam heavily. The distance on Turn Slam is much shorter and it feels very stiff and not fluid like it did in the beta. You can see in these two clips, the beta Turn Slam would go further in distance and also curved a little more when compared to the live Turn Slam. It doesn't seem like a big deal when you see this clip, but I'm going to compare the stuff that I used to do in the beta that I am unable to do in the live patch so you can see how bad Turn Slam feels now. In the beta, I can Turn Slam and slam outside the window. That's not possible anymore because of the stair slam distance being shorter. In the beta, I could start a stair slam here and then turn slam to go to the other door, but because stair slam struggles to latch onto inclines now, I can no longer do a turn slam here. Here's another beta clip. When I try to replicate it in the live patch, you can see how stiff it feels. Occasionally, Doomfist will struggle to latch onto the stairs here, which means you can't do a turn slam. You can see how much microcontrol I have over my turn slam in the beta and how stiff and clunky it feels in the live patch. When seeing the comparison clips, you can easily notice how much better Turn Slam felt in the beta when compared to the live patch. It was extremely fluid and felt great to use. Stall Slam. Because of the issues with Stair Slam, this also affected Stall Slam. If you can't do a Stair Slam, then you can't do a Stall Slam. Remember when I said that Stair Slam struggles to latch onto inclines now? Well, let's check out this clip. You could see I am standing on a small incline, which is the bump on the floor, and then I use my slam, which would give me a stair slam. And when you have access to stair slam, then you could do a turn slam. And if you have access to turn slam, you can counteract your forward momentum by walking backwards, which would be called a stall slam. In simple terms, if I could stair slam, then I can stall slam. Let's try to replicate that stall slam in the beta. If you haven't guessed already, then let me tell you. I know for a fact that I cannot stair slam on these inclines anymore, so that means I can't do a stall slam. This is what it looks like if I attempt to repeat that same tech in the beta. It feels terrible. Here is another beta example. I am doing multiple stall slams successfully, which feels great, and if I try this on the live patch, it just doesn't work at all because I can't do a stair slam. Head slam. This tech on its own wasn't that useful, but it was useful if you combine it with other techs like turn slam, b-hop slam, slam cancel, etc. It was very useful for entering a crowd slam effect when you weren't near an incline and getting out of enclosed spaces like in this clip here. You can see I do a perfectly angled head slam which now puts me in a crowd slam effect, and at this point I can do a turn slam, so I do a turn slam to the left and then b-hop slam to close the distance. You can see how this takes a ton of skill and hero knowledge, especially when I'm executing these techs on the spot. Sadly, this tech is kinda dead now due to multiple reasons. Number 1, crowd slam effect distance being shorter. Number 2, turn slam being stiff. Number 3, slam cancel delay being added. Number 4, b-hop slam getting patched. These 4 techs played a huge role in getting value out of head slam. Let's break them down. Number 1. The distance of crouch slam effect was shortened. This basically ruined and killed head slam, because when you went for a head slam, you enter a crouch slam effect, and since the crouch slam effect distance is shorter, this means when you do a head slam now, you kind of just slam the floor instantly and don't really stay in a crouch slam effect as long as you did in the beta. Number 2. Turn slam being stiff. When you enter a crouch slam effect, you can have access to the tech known as turn slam. Due to the turn slam being stiff and crouch slam effect distance being shorter, you can barely do a turn slam after doing a head slam. This feels so bad and clunky. Number 3. Slam cancel delay. Earlier in this video, I mentioned they added a slammed cancel delay in the beta. You can see in these clips how I executed multiple techs and then canceled my slam so it doesn't lock me in the slamming down animation. This is no longer possible due to the delay added, so it feels extremely clunky. Number 4. B-hop slam getting patched. When you went for a head slam, you usually went for a B-hop slam for multiple reasons, whether it was to delay your slam so you could slam a double jumping Genji, or so you can get out of an enclosed space. But because B-hop slam got patched, can't really B-hop slam anymore. Drop slam. This is what drop slam looked like in the beta. You basically do an edge slam but walk backwards the moment your slam lashes onto the geometry, which allowed your slam to drop down. This is what it looks like in the live patch. Drop slam is basically dead because of two reasons. Number 1, edge slam is bad now and barely works. Number 2, crouch slam effect distance being shorter. Even if you can get an edge slam onto the high ground, having enough time to walk off the high ground is nearly impossible due to the shortened distance of crouch slam effect, which makes you slam the floor sooner rather than later. B-hop slam. When I was talking about the uses of head slam, you already heard me talking about B-hop slam. I don't want to explain B-hop slam again, but I did want to show you guys 4 other reasons on why B-hop slam is useful, since it was the cherry on top of all of his techs. Number 1. Normally slamming or stair slamming can only go so far, so being able to B-hop slam gave you that extra distance that you needed to cover in certain situations. Number 2. B-hop slam allowed you to jump over geometry that was in the way. Number 3. Occasionally, when you slam towards an enemy, you might accidentally slam on top of an object that is too high for slam to deal any damage, and usually you can see this coming as you're slamming, but with the removal of B-hop slam, there's nothing you could do about it anymore. Back in the beta, if you came across this situation, you would be able to B-hop slam and then land on the floor to hit your enemies. Number 4. I'm about to talk about this issue next, but with crouch slam effect being shorter, you now have less time to turn your camera as you're slamming. You can see in this clip I was slamming out of the room like normal, and I am turning my camera as fast as possible so I can hit the Junker Queen, but you can see how fast Doom Slam hits the floor. I can't add a slight delay by jumping, which would give me enough time to turn around and hit the Junker Queen. B-hop Slam was amazing because it gave Doomfist just a bit more microcontrol over his movement, which I feel like he personally needed. It's what made Doomfist so fun to play because he was extremely fluid and didn't feel clunky at all. I also want to mention that B-hop Slam was the only tech that got fixed and that was put in the patch notes. I didn't want to include these in the tech sections because playing Doomfist like a normal player who doesn't utilize these techs will come across these tech problems whether they want to or not. It is impossible to intentionally avoid Doomfist techs while playing Doomfist, so this heavily affects Doom's normal gameplay. I'm going to show you a few clips on how I got screwed over due to the shortened distance of crouch slam effects. I showed this clip earlier, but you can see how I couldn't turn my camera in time to hit the Junker Queen. If this was in the beta, I would have enough time because crouch slam effect distance was longer in the beta. Here is another clip where I am slamming towards the payload and then I start turning my camera so I can hit the enemies, but because of the crouch slam effect distance being shorter, my hero instantly slams and I hit nothing. In this clip, I tried to turn around so I could slam the Ana, but my slam instantly slams the geometry. If this was in the beta, Doomfist would slam into the geometry's edge and then slide off of it, kinda like in this clip here. And then I would be able to slam the Ana just fine. In this clip, my slam instantly lands on the geometry and I could not turn my camera in time to hit the enemies. I did a head slam here and turned my camera, but nope, I got screwed over because of the issues with Doom techs. As you can see in these clips, I wasn't intentionally trying to execute specific techs. These issues will happen in his natural gameplay, and I got screwed over so many times because of this. In the beta, I never had these issues because Doomfist had more microcontrol over his movement, so I can essentially bypass these issues by naturally playing or by executing specific techs, so things like this don't happen. Overall, Doom's movement went from being fluid and perfect to clunky and terrible. It ruins the skill ceiling of the hero and made him less fun to play. It's really sad to see that it's been 5 seasons and that his movement is still broken to this day. I hope I was able to explain the issues with his techs and movement properly because I found it extremely difficult to explain the issues since his tech and movement is insanely complex. For the end of this video, I'm going to include a bunch of normal clips of how my movement got screwed over due to these issues with Doom tech so you can see what it looks like from a gameplay perspective. I might include some commentary for some clips. In this clip, I wanted to slam past this wall so I can land on the point, but it's extremely difficult now. If my slam barely interacts with a geometry, it will immediately start the slamming down animation. In the beta, I would easily B-hop slam off this geometry or edge slam into it and turn slam off the geometry, but this is no longer possible. So I have less options with this engagement. I just have to hope the geometry doesn't screw me over at this point. In this clip, I wanted to slam the Ana, but the car got in the way and my slam instantly activated on top of the car, which made my slam miss. That means I got no shields and dealt no damage. Imagine if there were 5 enemies here and I missed out on 150 shields and 250 damage. So what would happen differently in the beta? Well, there would be 2 things that would happen. Number 1 is that you can edge slam and turn slam off the car so you don't land on top of the car, kind of like in this clip. You could see I edge slam into the box and slide off. This is what I want to happen. I don't want to slam on top of the box. Number 2, in the beta, I would be able to b-hop slam off the car so my slam doesn't activate on top of the car to deal no damage. I would simply land on the floor to hit the enemies. So you could see I had more options in the beta that would make my slam feel and work better when compared to the live patch. Now, any tiny pixel on the map can counter Doom Slam, and it's so dumb because this was never an issue in the beta. In the beta, after hitting this diagonal punch, I would be able to slam into the geometry's edge and then b-hop slam to slam the Junkrat, but you could see after hitting the diagonal punch, I am just waiting to land on top of the geometry and then activate my slam. It just feels so bad knowing what you could have done in the beta compared to the live patch. This play I did would have been so fluid and smooth, but it's so bad that you have to ruin your flow on purpose to make sure your slam doesn't get countered by the map geometry. With or without the slam text, this Junkrat would have gotten slammed either way. Just one method took skill and felt fluid, and the other takes less skill and feels clunky. Almost pushing, I'm gonna go point. Oh no. I thought he's gonna continue peeking. They just started toggling. What's going on? Oh,
In purple?
speeding. Bro. Oh no, my slam.
This is your warning.
No way.
Zusi Wusi is the GOAT.
Dude, like, no way. No fucking. Nah, dude. Went for lottery punch. No way.
I almost around me.
My god. Oh, let's go. Oh, I got. Oh, I thought I had slam. I'm gonna go on there, Ana.
Let's fix that.
Never. Oh, dude. Summer next. Just keep it out.
Ryan low.
This is your
Oh,